This is Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles from Safe Harbor Retirement Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Corey provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles.
Welcome to another episode of Financially Fit Radio. I'm Corey Sickles, representing the team here at Safe Harbor Retirement Group and Wealth Advisors. If you would like more information about the insights on today's show, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can give us a call at 614-760-0670 or visit us online at safeharboroh.com. And while you're exploring our website, be sure to navigate to that radio page. There you can catch up on previous shows and even subscribe to our program through popular podcast platforms like Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, or Spotify. For engaging visual content on various financial subjects, feel free to drop by our YouTube page as well. Just search for Safe Harbor Retirement Group. You can also watch the radio show Financially Fit there as well. We're here to address any inquiries you might have or to arrange either an in-person or virtual meeting. And remember, all of our meetings are complimentary and carry no obligation. Your financial well-being is our priority, so let us know how we can assist you the best. As we count down 2023's final days, it's time to begin pondering what's on the horizon for retirement in 2024. How should you handle inflation? Should you be prepared for lower returns? What are the new rules for retirement withdrawals? So during today's show, we're going to discuss some of the factors, good and bad, that retirees should be prepared for in 2024. But before we dive into that, let me introduce to you my co-host this week and every week, and that's Tony Shore. Tony, how are you today?
I'm really good today, Corey. I've had a great week and got a lot done. Excited about that. It's just the holiday season is here, which I like the holiday season, but it's ramping up. You know what I mean? Have we gotten the Christmas cards out yet? We still need gifts for so-and-so. So we're getting into that mode now. It's getting a little frantic with planning and who's going to be where when. So, that kind of goes along with the holidays, but we don't want to get too stressed out. We take it in stride, and it's always good to see family. I did go to Las Vegas this past weekend to see U2, the band U2, at the Sphere, which is the premier concert venue right now in the world. It's unbelievable. And the pictures and videos don't do it justice, Corey. I think everyone listening, if you get a chance, you've got to go out and experience it and see a show at the Sphere. I heard right now it's U2. I heard the next band is going to be the Eagles. That'll be playing.
I've just heard Fish is going to be there too.
Oh, Fish!
For 4.
Wow.
Fish is going to be there for 4.
Wow.
For 4 nights.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
They just announced that.
Oh wow, yeah. I hadn't heard that. That's
like in April.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely a venue. I want to be able to go see as well.
It was amazing.
Yeah. It looks like it looks incredible.
Yeah, the entire dome is a video screen. So it's the world's largest high definition LED screen, and it's U2. Yeah. They sounded great, and of course the venue, the acoustics are amazing. Like Bono whispered, and people could hear him in the back. He goes, "You can hear me in the back, can't you?" And it's pretty amazing. And they played on a giant turntable. It was just in the video. Yeah, you have to experience it. I mean, Vegas is already over the top, but this thing costs like $1.7 billion to build or something. It's close to $2 billion. Yeah, it was amazing.
Well, I know they're operating in the red right now, so
and they will for a while. While, but
I'm sure they will. But as they get bigger names in, and over time, I'm sure it'll end up being great. Yep. But you were talking about all that holiday stuff, and hopefully you took our advice from last week when we discussed all the holiday. Make sure you control all your spending and all that stuff during your holiday season.
That's right.
You don't want to start off 2024 in debt.
No, No. Yeah, December's a bad time to go to Vegas, but I didn't gamble, Corey, so
Yeah.
I'm not a gambler, so I didn't lose any money that way. But it isn't cheap, but, we just stayed for the show, and it was great. Had a good experience.
Yeah. It's hard to believe 2023 is wrapping up here.
Yeah.
Medicare annual enrollment's ending. It ended.
Yeah.
So obviously that's a busy time, for some of our staff here, helping people out, doing reviews and all that type of stuff. And, a lot of people like to retire that first month, really the first quarter of a new year. Some people wait until the end of February or March. Maybe they're getting some type of bonus and they want to make sure they're going to get that. That's why they're still employed. But, right now, it's really, for us, it's all years long. But, at the end of this year, end of a year and the beginning of next year, we really get, pretty busy just for the fact that people want to make life changes. And, of course, that is retirement. And, when we, one of the first things I think we should probably talk about just in general, because when we start talking about retirement, the first thing that always pops up is Social Security, right? It's really the foundation of building that income plan. And, there's a few things, right? In 2022, we had over an 8% increase on that cost of living COLA. Inflation was high in 2023 or 2022. And, this heading into 2024, and if you are on Social Security or, if you're letting that thing grow, that's going to increase by 3.2%, for 2024. So that's a little bit more money. We'll keep up with inflation. We'll actually see that's about right where inflation is. But we also know, there's a couple things that are also being kind of thrown around too, Tony. This might be the first year in 2024 where that Social Security Trust Fund may run a little bit short. We've always, we keep hearing about 2023 or something like that where maybe the trust fund actually ends. But, one thing that Congress is actually looking at right now is possibly increasing that retirement age to 69. Back in 1983 is when they actually changed the full retirement age from 65 to 67. And they're going to have to make some type of changes, Tony.
Yeah.
To Social Security. And, if that does take effect, it's going to be beginning in 2026. So the people that are going to really be affected by that are anybody that's 59 years or younger at this point in time. So they're probably going to increase it just like they did, in the past, where it increased by 2 months. So, that's something to be able to be on the lookout for. You really haven't heard it in the news, but, sometimes it's some of those things that kind of get passed in Congress that's kind of passed in another bill. So you have to kind of watch that. So that's something to kind of look at, for 2024. And, the one thing I do want to remind all of our listeners out there, Tony, is, Social Security is such a key part, of someone's retirement. You only get one shot at it.
Right.
And you just want to make sure before you trigger that benefit that you truly know when you should do it, what's going to be the best for you. And, if you're married, you and your spouse, we had that Social Security Maximization report. It's a great report. I think it's a great way to become educated before you trigger your benefits, just to make sure you potentially know what you might be leaving on the table.
Yeah.
That Social Security Maximization report is complimentary if you come in and visit with us. But it's a great way to be able to make sure you're making the right decision when we start talking about your Social Security benefits.
Yeah, my wife and I have had that run and looked at it, and it is fantastic, Corey. And I think it's a great report that you run for people, and it's personalized to each individual. It's not just something you have. It's not just a handout. It's an actual full report that will tell you the best times, spousal benefits, everything. So I think that's huge, and I would encourage our listeners to give you a call. Come in, set that no charge, no obligation consultation, have that run. Because like you say, Social Security is the foundation of retirement for so many people. So, and it should be the first thing you look at. So that's important, especially as we see changes in 2024. What else might affect us in 2024?
Well, I think it's not only 2024, Tony, but this is one that happens every year. It's that silent killer, right? And really what I'm talking about is inflation.
Inflation, yep.
Right? So let's just face it. Everything is going up.
Yeah.
If we know Social Security is going up 3.2%. Is that going to be enough in order for retirees out there to be able to keep up with inflation? Who knows, for 2024. But one thing you have to kind of look at is, your Medicare Part B is going up about 5.5% next year. It's going up to over $175, per month that you're actually going to be paying for that. And when we start talking about, just in general, whether it's groceries or gas or just any other type of commodity that you might end up buying, it's going to cost more than it did in 2023. Yeah. Or obviously 2022 as well. So in order to be able to keep up with inflation, you also need to make sure that, we'll kind of talk about this, a little bit later too, but you also need to make sure that you're not being too conservative within your portfolio. Now, it's important, obviously, to be able to make sure that you understand what your risk level is. And you want to make sure that you're always investing based upon what your risk tolerance is. But at the end of the day, when we start looking at risk tolerance, even if you're a conservative growth, or, say you're a conservative type of individual out there, some of that money needs to be invested in stocks because long term, over the course of time, it shows that it does grow.
And you need that growth
bad years?
To combat inflation is what you're saying.
That's exactly right. I mean, we know, everyone always remembers the negative years, right?
Right.
Whether it's 2022 or 2008 or back to 2001 and 2 and 3, right? But over the course of time, the market does go up,
right?
And you need to make sure that you're not overexposed, but you also want to make sure that you're not underexposed to the market as well. And really, the best way to do that, you can visit our website at safeharboroh.com. We have a risk assessment right there on the homepage where you can go in there, find out what your risk score is. Then we can sit down with you and show you on how you really should be allocated to meet those needs. And of course, one of the things that we do, Tony, is every year we do a risk tolerance for all of our clients out there, right? It's important because, as you go through time, you just need to make sure that risk tolerance follows you. Now, will you get more conservative as you age? Sure you will. But you just want to make sure that your portfolio kind of matches where you should be at that point in time.
Yeah, and you have portfolios that can protect against downside. There are a lot of great options out there. I know you had Mike Binger on the show, and you talked about options in the market. You've talked about those before, where there are portfolios that can protect against the downside, so you don't have to worry about that. So I think there are options as you get older to utilize to minimize the downside, but yet still get some growth, aren't there?
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that you definitely want to do is, and this is where we kind of help a lot of individuals out there, especially our clients, is, you might have money with us that you're invested in, but you might have a 401k or a 403b or a thrift savings plan. We can actually look at that too, just to make sure that you're allocated the correct way on your overall portfolio as well. So, when we start talking about inflation too, Tony, one of the things that can derail, a retirement plan as well is healthcare.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And really what I had a client in here, I think one of their parents is in an assisted living. It's going up like 8 or 9% a year. So, so we know what it costs today. It might be $5,000 or, for assisted living here in the Central Ohio area, $5,000 a month. That's going to keep growing over time. And, if something does happen where you do go into a facility like that, it can eat up your retirement, income or, your nest egg. And more importantly, what it can also do, Tony, is it can, if you're married, it can really put a strain on the spouse, the remaining spouse that's maybe at home as well. So, there's options out there to be able to invest in things that can help with, your long-term health care cost, whether it's life insurance or whether it's an annuity. There's all kinds of things out there that we can actually help you with. I think it's so important to be able to maybe sit down, with a financial services professional like myself, so we can kind of just show you what's out there. Again, it's all about being educated. That's our sole thing that we try to do for all of our clients is educate you so you know what's kind of out there, and then you can make the right decision for you and your family.
Yeah. Well, and I think that that makes sense as well. My mom, who has Parkinson's, is in a home, and she's in a care facility, and their price went from $6,000 a month to $10,000 a month over the last 2 years. So
sure.
Healthcare is rising. You have to look at healthcare costs and long-term care costs. And people might say, well, my wife and I are fine. We're not going to need long-term care. Well, once you get over 65, 2 out of every 3 people will need long-term care. That's the average. So you got to plan for it, like you say. And to do that, anything we're talking about, like investments, finding out what your risk tolerance is, protecting against downside, healthcare costs, inflation, and Social Security. I wouldn't want to do any of those things without working with a trusted financial services professional like yourself, Corey. So let our listeners know how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, for our listeners out there, you can always give us a call at 614-760-0670 or visit our website at safeharboroh.com. We're here again to help and guide you. If you have a financial plan, we can be that second set of eyes and provide you a second opinion. If you don't have one, we'll put one in place for you. It is so critical to have a financial plan. You need to kind of know where you stand today and what it's going to look like tomorrow, especially, as you kind of go through a retirement. It's going to be able to show you whether you have, potentially any issues or pitfalls of being able to potentially run out of money later on in retirement. So give us a call here at 614-760-0670 or visit us online at safeharboroh.com.
Well, that sounds good, Corey. We're going to keep rolling along so we can get the listeners some more information. I know you have a lot to talk about. What else will shape this retirement picture in 2024?
T. Rowe Price, Tony, predicts increased personalization will be a factor in shaping retirement in 2024. And what does that mean?
Yeah.
Right? And really what it means is more people are looking for custom type of solutions just for them.
Right.
And one of the things that we do here at Safe Harbor is, everyone's different, right? Everyone has different income needs. Everyone saved different amounts of money. Everyone, has different maybe health issues or concerns and things like that. But, when you do come in and you go through our process here, is we are going to personalize your own retirement plan. Everyone's different. That's what makes us a fiduciary, right? When we start talking about being a fiduciary, we're always going to do what's in your best interest. Yeah. And the only way to be able to do that is provide a personalized compass or financial plan that's just specific to meet your needs. And, T. Rowe Price thinks a lot of people are going to want this, but, we've really been doing this for years, Tony, here at Safe Harbor.
Yeah, that's exactly what you've been doing. And I think, the rest of the industry is trying to catch up, but you work really hard and know that everybody's situation is different. And that's why you meet with people and really custom form a plan around them. It's not cookie cutter at all. You look at their situation fully first before recommending anything and help them make the right decisions to avoid costly mistakes. But technology has helped, like we just talked about earlier, that Social Security Maximization report. And things like that are getting better and better. And the tools you have to help your clients personalize things improve every year, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right? Obviously, when you start looking at, some of the things with T. Rowe Price too, technology is going to be a big part of what takes place now and also the future. There's a lot more tools for people to be able to utilize. There's a lot more tools for us to be able to utilize and provide to our clients to provide them a better, financial plan as well. So we're always going to be, we're always looking for ways to improve our business process here. And at the end of the day, that helps our clients.
Yeah.
the more that we're educated, the more that we can actually utilize technology. It's going to be very beneficial for the clients.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think, we're talking about next year. A lot of people were worried about recession earlier, but now it looks like we might avoid that, doesn't it, for 2024?
You know what? It does. They were really expecting us to have a recession here in 2023.
Yeah.
It never really materialized. Hopefully a lot of the numbers that come out with the holiday sales and things like that are going to be good for 2024. One thing to always look at, if the market has a good February or January and February, odds are it's going to have it's going to be positive at the end of the year. I mean, you can't guarantee it, but based off of history,
right.
When the market does perform well the first couple of months, it kind of hangs on, throughout the end of the year, even if you do have a little bit of, corrections, right? We had a correction here in 2022 from August through the end of October where the market dropped over 10%. But as we sit here, through basically, the first part of December here, the S&P is up around 20%. The Dow Jones is up close to 10%. And, the NASDAQ's up over 30%. So, with all the interest rates and inflation and things happening, from a market standpoint for 2023, it's been a good year. And, they are expecting, a little bit of a lower, I would say, a lower expectation in the market in 2024.
Yeah.
Obviously, interest rates are going to be able to drive this as well as inflation. And that's something, those are probably two key metrics. Hopefully, there's no more wars that start in 2024, Tony.
Yeah. Hopes and prayers and fingers crossed for that because, that affects so many people. And it's a tragedy to begin with when that happens. And then you never know, it can send economies spiraling as well, but we've been able to maintain so far, so that's good as far as our economy is concerned, and we just hope the outlook for 2024 is better. 2023 wasn't bad. 2022, we've made up some of that ground in 2023, which is nice.
Yeah, it has been nice, from a market standpoint. It's been a little bumpy, but the one thing is when you work with an advisor like us, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to review, your status or risk tolerance on an annual basis. But you have to remember, we have a long-term approach. We don't let emotion drive us on what we're really trying to accomplish by what we do have invested in the market on a daily basis, right? We have a long-term approach. We're going to take that emotion out of it and just make sure that you're allocated the correct ways so your portfolio can handle the ups and downs within the market.
Yeah, and I think that's hugely important, Corey. You have to have that plan in place. It's so critical.
Yeah, with people living so much longer, Tony, if you sit down with us and maybe you want to retire at 62, but we tell you you have to retire at 65, you still might have 20 to 25 more years in retirement. Yeah. So you don't want to put a strain on yourself later on in life that's going to maybe derail that, and where you do run out of money, where you can enjoy retirement. Yeah. So that's why it's so important to work with us, because we can show you again where you are and when's the right time for you to retire.
Yep. And how can our listeners get a hold of you before we go?
Yeah, for our listeners out there, just give us a call at 614-760-0670. Or visit our website at safeharboroh.com. And just remember, all of our meetings are complimentary. There's no obligation, and we'll put together a personalized retirement plan just for you.
All right, and that does it for today's episode of Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles.
Join us next week for another episode of Financially Fit Radio.
Thank you for listening to Financially Fit Radio. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, contact Corey Sickles at Safe Harbor Retirement Group.
Call 614-760-0670 or visit their website at financiallyfitoh.com.
All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.